Hi, it's Phil from LenderKit, and let's talk about data protection rules for crowdfunding platforms. Platforms handle all sorts of data from personal information to transactions, regularly communicate with third parties, as well as store the gathered data on the platform's own servers. When users register on a crowdfunding platform, they leave their name, email, location, investor status, personal documents, and plenty of other confidential stuff. So the question is, how do you gather and store this data lawfully? The European Commission names 8 key points that we will talk about today. So the first one is communication. Investors need to understand who gathers and has access to the data, why it is gathered, and how long it will be stored. Basically, you'll find this written in the terms of use on any crowdfunding platform. The second rule is consent. What that means is that your users need to be able to configure the cookies and agree or reject them. Usually, you'll have some of the required cookies which you can't operate without. Also, consent is not only about the cookies, but also about ticking any boxes where users need to agree to the terms and conditions, privacy policy, and so on. The third rule is access and portability. Well, plain and clear, let people access their data. On a crowdfunding platform, you can display a button in the investor's dashboard to allow investors to request their data. The data can be sent to the investor's email. The fourth rule is warning. Even though the Commission speaks about data breach warnings, which is of course reasonable because you need to have some disaster recovery policy in place, but there are other warnings to talk about as well. For example, all regulated platforms display a message that investing carries risks and that you can lose all your money. This is something that should be clearly visible to investors if your platform is regulated. The fifth rule is the ability to erase data by request. Users of the platform need to have the right to be forgotten and request their data to be deleted. We have this functionality in the LenderKit crowdfunding software, so I assume that online investment platforms also have this technical ability in some way. The sixth rule concerns profiling. If you do the KYC AML to identify your customers for loans or equity investments, you get a solid customer profile. Based on the criteria, you may reject certain applications, however, users should have an ability to reapply once they meet the requirements. The Commission stresses on make sure you have a person, not a machine, checking the process if the application is rejected. So any automated checks should be disputable in case the AI doesn't do a good job. The seventh rule is about marketing. That basically means that people can opt out of any direct marketing activities that are coming from your platform. This, however, is handled automatically by most mailing providers like MailChimp. There is always a link to unsubscribe. The final rule today concerns safeguarding sensitive data. It really goes without saying that in the financial field, the security should be of a very high standard. However, what does this security mean? Usually money is handled by escrow providers, custodians or payment gateways, while KYC AML data is processed by the corresponding providers. However, you may still have certain records in your system, including transactions, internal IDs, project data, investors' data, and so on. The rule of thumb is to keep it for 5 years and then anonymize it and archive or even erase it completely if you don't use it. You may also need a data processing officer who will oversee the data management in your crowdfunding platform. We have that functionality in LenderKit, which allows you to have a dedicated data processing officer role and be more compliant to data protection rules. So if you are looking for a white label crowdfunding solution or want to build a custom platform, reach out to us at LenderKit.